preparation. Yeah. I need some real nigga reparations before I run up in your bank just for recreation. Yeah, it's just speaking to like the combo you have with yourself when you outside of the opportunities, but you know your actions and your mentality are success.
I had gave up on rap music. I was cool on it, you know what I'm saying? Like people came to me and was like, bro, do it. Like John Shapiro was like, I got a situation for you. And I was like, he set up studio time. He chased me down, like, man, get in the studio, bro. Cause I devoted myself to it at an early age. And like I talk about, I was in the streets. I had money, I had spots, and I sold all my jewelry, sold my cars, and bought studio equipment, devoted myself to it. And I made a lot of music. Majority of the stuff that was on Bullets Ain't Got No Names 1 and 2, I made before my deal. And we got hit, we got raided. They took all my equipment. My brother went to the pen. I caught a case. And I was just like, I was devoting my energy to positivity. And I felt like, to no avail. Still, we ran into the same roadblocks that I could have been in, in a better position financially. I could have kept grinding and just might have still had the same outcome. So it kind of, I mean, crack, that's an old drug, That's like from the 80s.
It's so old school.
Yeah, Nah, but I was like, I'm cool on it, And so the music I done was it still existed. It was still out there. It was still on MySpace. John Shapiro heard it. He came to LA, met with me at the Beverly Center, and was like, man, I could make this happen. And I was skeptical of the industry. I was skeptical of industry people. I was like, yeah, all right, cool. And he was serious, and I didn't recognize how serious he was until he put a deal on the table, and it was a check. And I was like, all right, let's do it. Yeah.
I think I was in an untraditional space just because I wasn't in a major label system. I didn't have, the way businesses handle as usual, as a pressure on my releases. So I always had to just think, what can I do to stand out? Because like you said, it's so saturated, so many releases. You could drop some Tuesday, they forget about you by Sunday.
Right.
So I just wanted to be distinguished in the obviously in the music, but then also in the marketing and the way we introduce it to the public. So I don't know if I was ahead of the game or if I just was in survival mode and trying to make sure that my releases were recognized, because I knew we didn't have millions of dollars in marketing to give it the biggest platform. So we had to be guerrillas with how we made people talk about it. And I think by, the $100 price tag, the Proud to Pay campaign, just the way we delivered it, it became something to talk about. And then they looked into it, and hopefully the music stood up to the price tag and to the marketing, you know what I mean?
I think some of the price tags, speaking of price tags that you bring up, it was funny because you had at one point in time, how much were you charging when you did that back in the day? You was charging what? Was it $60 an hour? $100.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And back then I was like, yo, that's that alone was marketing idea.
100%.
That alone was marketing. I was like, yo, nobody else charging that much for a project.
Right.
Or was even thinking about doing something like that. I was like, that alone got people to look at you and be like, well, why is he doing it that way?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And my goal really was, I wasn't necessarily charging $100 for the music. I was charging $100 for a limited hard copy.
Right.
Because again, we was in the mixtape space at that time, and everything was going digital. Everything was on iTunes, Spotify, Tidal.
Right.
The mixtape sites, Hot New Hip Hop, all of that piff. So we ain't really get from classic mixtapes. I think about like Cushion OJ from Wiz, or Rich Forever from Ross, or like So Far Gone from Drake. Even though they did distribute that later, them classics. So you kind of want to have them. Meek Mill, Dream Chasers 1 and 2.
That was all online stuff.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So after it's over, the online wave died down. I know that people wanted them hard copies. So when I looked at what I wanted to do with Crenshaw, it wasn't an album, but it was something I felt was dope work, and that was gonna mark time. So I just wanted to be able to say, I'm gonna make 1,000 units, hard copies. I'm gonna sign them, number them, so they have individual value, and I'm gonna charge $100 for them.